His call came in the Wednesday before Thanksgiving of 2017, and he is calling like an agent. So he left me a message, and he said, "Well, I have a good offer for you. Your book is the book that I want to. It was recommended to us. It was recommended, highly recommended, and blah blah blah." And he would like to talk to me. So I went on with my Thanksgiving preparation with my family coming in from Manhattan. And the next thing you know, a few days after after they left, I called the number, and he's now giving me a response that my book is on Yahoo and Amazon for too much money. He can make me a better offer, but I have to come up with a new ISBN number, and I also have to do over my copyright. What madness! I said, man, I'm already in the pot. Why should I jump in the fire? This is madness. I have no doubt in my mind that was a right-hander from Author House Self, because remember now, they have 25,000 distributors. You don't know who is who, and with these people, you don't know how you're getting your money back. I believe most people who likes to write, spend time writing, or among the times writing, usually pay a lot of attention to details. There's something about details that writers usually do. It's like that. It's like something built into their minds. And I know that I could not break my contract along the years with Author House, because there was what you call a stereotyping was forming. I noticed there was a stereotyping, plus there was so many unanswered questions, especially when it returned from the Attorney General that the case was thrown out and closed down, because there were still questions to be answered. Account for the 20 books, account the question why this woman was in the company since '98, and you went and get a ISBN number in 2002, and you put her work as fiction, and she's published with you originally as a biographer. Why did you do that? There's questions to be answered. You can't do that. Plus, here this woman is also popped up with this equation with something emotional happening in Trinidad, a murder, hanging of 9 men, and she wrote about it, and they're calling it compulsion writing and all sorts of different things. So you're formulating something, you're stereotyping. This is becomes a stereotyping issue. This woman has been forced out of jobs, be forced not to get jobs, forced on the street, and all sorts of stuff. And you want me to close a contract like that? No. Again, as a writer, you observe things. You're keen in your brain, you're keen in your eyes, you're keen all over. And God bless me, I'm not an alcoholic, I'm not a drunk, and praise the Lord. So I was not closing that contract when that so-called publisher who had fantastic ideas to me, I wasn't closing off at all. Because you know one thing, there's a lot of crooks all about in the world. America have his hands full with that too. But basically, Americans is good people. Some of them like to play God. That's a different kettle of fish. But America have good people. And I always know if I bring this forward, they're going to solve this problem for me. So I didn't give a darn about, the Author House. Because as black as I am, I'm a redneck. I'm just like the rebels in Texas. Author House never had the ass on me. I was always head and head with them. No, I was not breaking that contract. And what I did notice too, at the same time, I observed, because I couldn't get hold of the number he gave me, the so-called publisher gave me. He spoke like if he had something like a German accent, or, a deep accent anyway in that part of the world. And what I did notice with him is that he just had a phone business. I don't think he necessarily had, he set up some sort of I can tell the way the phone call went through, and he got pretty upset at the last minute that I will not I was making it clear, no, I don't want to do that. I don't see the reasoning in that. I'm not going to do that at all. So, no, I was not breaking my contract because I know I know my rights on my copyright. Yes, when the guy called and said that he could give me a better deal in order house and trying to explain to me that it's my contract and I can get out of it and I could break the contract. And of course I know that. But the thing is that, as I said, withdrawing or taking my contract away from Order House, they get off the hook. It's taking them off of the hook. Anytime you break a contract from a scam artist, you getting them off of the hook. You have to go in there and do something, shake them up or something, because they're scam artists. They love you to turn you back. And when you turn your back, they are home free. So this is not with me. I know it's my copyright and I have the rights to break the contract anytime I want to. But you have to know how to break and when to break. As I said, when you're gambling, you have to know when to get up. It's the same thing with them, because you have to know the point when to get up. Within the lifetime history of the books, the price of the book could change many times. But the history, the amount which accumulate of the sale, the total sale, that is what I am looking for. I don't exactly know what the IRS is looking for, but I know what I am looking for. I want to know the history, how many was sold within your 25,000 distributors. That is what I want to know. And the only way for me to know that is if you produce the ISBN number you said when it was sold. I don't know what's going on at Order House, but I know it stinks. Yes, it is slavery. It is the modern day slavery. When you stereotype my work and you stereotype the divine order, and I'm too black to produce something like that, and you could scrub my site and you still want information from me with a bunch of insinuendos and all sorts of pushing around, that too is modern day slavery. You want my information, but you're ready to keep your foot on me. Eric William, the father of my country, was a social rebel. I call him a social rebel. My father was in love with that man. And when Eric Williams say, you leave Trinidad and you go out, they will steal your brains. And he was right. That's a rebel, a social rebel. He explained it. He didn't break it down, but he said it. When you leave Trinidad and you go out, your brains, people will steal it. And it's true. He didn't say it in these words, but read it. It's in the history book in Trinidad and Tobago. It's true. You call it modern day slavery. Well, I believe it's a disgust, it's a disgrace also that you spend money for your work. You spend money, you invested in your work because you were passionate about it. And it's a disgrace when somebody could steal your royalty and send you a check that say within that 60 cents is 24 cents for ebook. What is that? What are you really trying to do there? So for me, it become very personal at that point, and you really, you really disgust at that point because you spend money for your writing, you dedicate it to your work, you put it into their business hands. They are reaping the benefit. They're reaping everything. You get in nothing. That is slavery. That is slavery. That is like what, the cotton days or something like that? That is slavery. That is modern day slavery. I don't care what they say. That is slavery. I know slavery when I see it. I mean, I'm not getting no returns and everything I'm giving. What is that? That is slavery. This is where the government input come in. But even if I don't like to say government, this is a government part of special interest. For Order House, the police stunts, they have to either have a tax break or some sort of thing. So that become government. But that's the only way they could assist in this kind of corruption. to get me in a position where I could crumble under government. So yes, this is a special interest, right wing, left wing, within the government. I'm not intend to rest on this 60 cents, because this 60 cents remind me very much of something I'm about to show. And with uh, um, a urine test I had to take in Massachusetts for a job, and everything showed up negative, negative, and I still didn't get a job, even though I passed the urine test. So they accustomed putting me all through all these different things to see if they could turn my head to get me to go into some sort of, I don't know if it's an emotional trance or what, to see if I could go back to writing whatever they think I am holding back from writing in this equation. So my life has been battled, pushed around, shoved around, converted, chopped down, shoved into SSI, because I should not earn money so they could control my life and all sorts of stuff. So I'll show this letter in a minute. It's a pink letter I got, and my urine test, because I don't smoke, I don't drink. I live now and then, have a little Guinness or something, you know. But I'm not a heavy drinker. I don't go to doctors, and so they want to know what make me tick. I ain't going to no doctor. If the company send me to a doctor to have a urine test to pass the exam for a job, yes, I'll go. But if I don't have the cost to go to the doctor, I'm not going to a doctor and stuff like that. So my life has been a spin, all in a spin. And this rocket book, that's a joke. But it's good that they could be so crazy enough to put it there that I have something to show and to prove how these people has been put in my life through a ringer. And when I see that you are the big white hope of destruction, don't be angry with that, because I don't care what color hope is. For me, hope have no color. I don't care what color. But if you are a white bastard and you're doing it, yes, I'm going to put a name to it. But I'm not a racist. I don't care what color hope is. But if hope is destructive, I'm going to call it destructive. And this is what they have brought me to in my book. They brought this on to me because I wrote something. You destroy what I wrote, but you're still trying to wring something out of me, force something out of me, make me what I am not. So yes, I could call you the great white hope of destruction. What should I call you? A sweetheart when you're not? Come on. Why should you have the great American dream with my money, my labor? Why should you have it and not me? You know, I wasn't born in Timbuktu. This was for a job in Massachusetts in Springfield after I went out of Danaher too, after being there for 3 years. And they liked the company I came from, so they put me through the test. It was a company making parts for computer. Anyway, I was sent. I passed the test and I passed everything to have to the job. They even tell me where my parking would be and everything. So then they sent me to have this urine test. And I don't know if it was all a put on. The factory seems to be a nice place. I went through it and everything. And they did the test at Mercy's in Springfield, and then they sent it to lab in Kansas City. And I couldn't believe it when I came back, and the company told me, we can't hire you. I said, well, why? He said, because your urine was diluted, but here everything on the test is showing negative. And these are all the tests it was. That's all they needed, but they wouldn't hire me. So just to get a drop of my urine to send it out of state to see, well, maybe if I'm whatever they think I am, they went through all this trouble. And this test, I did this test twice, trying to get that very job. They made computer parts in the thing. I was suited for the job. The manager told me on everything, but it's just how special interest works. The blockade that special interest has put on my life here in America, I cannot unfold all of it to anyone or to the media or so. It's not that I cannot, I wouldn't. It's too much, it's too strenuous. It's living through it if I'm going to have to talk of it. I just wanted to share a bit of it. But it has been a blockade, nevertheless, to put me under pressure so that maybe I will reveal everything I had about divine order. So I'll show one more piece of that letter that came from the Library of Congress that, that is saying, yes, they recognize it as if I have any future problem or something like that, that yes, it went through the Library of Congress. So there was two letters inside there. I only showed one so far. So maybe I'll show the other one before I finish this program. I don't know if I get it, but maybe a glimpse of it or so. But that's it. I won't deal into that subject too much because I think when, not that I don't think, but I think that because I made a white website, I put my best foot forward. It was scrubbed. It was scrubbed by the monsters who think, well, yeah, I'm not worthy of it. I shouldn't have it. And conglomerate thought it was a joke and they could use it. They could manipulate it. They could manipulate me. And, I'm not worthy of such things. They could have it or they could make money of it or whatever the hell they was thinking. I don't know. To me, that's a slap in my face because in the first place, I don't owe you that. I don't owe you that. I was not American when I did it. I was not even, didn't even have a green card. So I think for myself, in a way, I did more than I was supposed to do. And yet you turn wrong, you rob me. Things that happen to me, I can't even relate it to my children because I don't want to confuse my children with issues. That's the type of person I am. So I kept everything and I had all of that. I'm a mother of 5 children. My book started when I was having my 3rd child. Okay, so I went through the ring. Plus, I'm a woman of 5 cesareans. So I know what pain is. The doctor said I should have stopped having cesarean at 3, and I went on to have 5. I know what pain is, and I know how to conceive. But what happened to me here in America under special interest was worse than the 5 cesarean I had in my life. As there's a God above. As there's a God above. And I will not rest until they or the house give me back every black penny that I give them. I will not rest. And the other thing is that I want to say that I know that God is on my side. And the day I found out that God was on my side is the day that the earthquake cracked Washington, D.C., the White House. When the people involved know where they had me around a table questioning me, like if I'm a criminal to get a little room, and it so happened the room was with drug addicts. They want to push me in a room with drug addicts. And when the almighty living God shake the earth and crack the White House, I know God was on my side. So to hell with those special interest people. So whatever was showing there, because this is the zip code where it was sent from in New York, New York. Now you have their stamp also up here. Plus, you have the reference number that they give. So that is what you call excellent copywriting, even though they may have been bullied, I believe, at the time by special interests, because special interests here in America went over this particular subject like a hawk and almost destroyed me. Okay, today is the 30th of September. I showed this Library of Congress envelope that they sent back to me a few days ago. But now that I'm ready to edit this video I'm making, I noticed something as I'm putting these papers away. And it arrived to the same thing I was talking about just a little bit about copywriting and the technique of it. And apparently, I feel good about it, to knowing that yes, the Library of Congress in America also has some good old-fashioned ways, because when I turn this over as it is, and this is it in here, I noticed that the Library of Congress also used the old-fashioned way. See, they put a sticker inside as the proofread, and it went from one employee to the next. So to send it back to Leonardson, and it came from New York, New York. This was the zip code back then. So I feel good and forward, and it went on, because it have to pass through probably different people at the Library of Congress who proofread and finally send it off, and then they put the new Massachusetts zip code on it. So I felt good about that. At least I know something about the old-fashioned way of copywriting. Okay, this is what I did after the 9 men were hanged in Trinidad and Tobago. This is the address of the Congress of Library. I received it in Massachusetts in 2001. This was my P.O. Box in Massachusetts then, 2001, March 5th, 2001. This is the copy they sent back to me, saying that they could not keep it because of it was too short. And as you can see here, I'm just going to show when I started this. It was in July of 1999. What interests me here though, and I only noticed this, honest to God, when I'm doing this video, because I just put it aside when I receive it in the same envelope and put it in my storage, and is the August 9, 1999. And I don't know if that's special interest code that I should do more, or what that was supposed to be. I have no idea. But all the 9 men was hanged. They have some very weird special interest people in America. And so the Congress of Libraries asking me here to resend it. That's the reference date they gave me. And they kept the reference date, and they kept the copy, and they asked me to send more information. And if I want to redo it, make it a little larger and so forth, pay another fee. They kept the old fee that I sent. And I said, well, this is closed off as far as I'm concerned, until if God give me a second bow. But I didn't become an alcoholic. I didn't become a drunk. I became homeless a couple times because of this. And it all special interest bearings.